Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a revision session of commanding and forbidding. If you want to benefit most from this, please revise your fi'l mudari, and the people who will benefit most from this session will be the ones who have already gone through fi'l mudari and they already know some of Nahu, and they have already gone through, actually they already know what commanding and forbidding is, because it is meant to be a revision session. So let's recall that there are three types of fi'l. We have already learned about fi'l madi and fi'l mudari, and then there are fi'l amr and fi'l nahi. Fi'l amr and fi'l nahi will both be formed by fi'l mudari. Fi'l amr and fi'l nahi are both formed by present tense. Why? Because you cannot command in the past or the future. And they are also formed by using the second person pronouns. Who are the second person pronouns? Second person pronouns are the ones, they are anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. All the yous. The you, he and the you, she's, all the yous. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So you have to remember these two things. The amr and nahi happens in the present tense, and the amr and nahi happen with the anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. All the yous. So when it comes to commanding and forbidding, we are concerned only with the second person pronoun, because you cannot command or forbid yourself or someone else who is not present. So fi'l and nahi. We will begin by learning how to construct a nahi because it is simpler. Follow a 3-step process. Begin with your fi'l in the second person mudari form. Make sure that the pronoun matches with the one being forbidden. Yes, make sure that you are using anta form for a singular masculine and anti form for a singular feminine, and respectively. Like, don't use anta for anta form of verb for anti, and don't use anti form of verb for anta. So begin your fi'l in the second person mudari form. Make sure that the pronoun matches with the one being forbidden. Put the fi'l in the lightest form. Put the fi'l in the lightest form. How do you put fi'l mudari in the lightest form? If you don't know, you have to go and revise quickly. Put a la in front of the fi'l. These are the 3 steps. Begin with your fi'l in the second person mudari form. Put the fi'l in the lightest form. Put a la in front of the fi'l. So let's see if you want to command Maryam, a singular, feminine, not to help, for instance, you would follow this process. Start off with normal second person, tansurina. Tansurina. That's a feminine, singular, mudare. Tansurina. Then you make it lightest. Tansuri. Tansuri. And then third step was put a la in front of it. La tansuri. La tansuri, la tansuri. Don't help. La tansuri, don't help. So, one more time. Begin with your fi'l in the second person mudari form. Put the fi'l in the lightest form. Put a la in front of the fi'l. We have an example of singular feminine. Mudari version is tansurina. We make tansurina lightest by making it tansuri. And we put a la in front of la tansuri. La tansuri. Don't help. You girl, don't help. Don't help. Any singular girl, you want to say don't help, you will say la tansuri. So you need to know what is fi'l mudari, you need to know what is the lightest form of fi'l mudari, and you need to know your pronouns. The anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna forms of fi'l mudari. And how to recognize a fi'l nahi? In order for a fi'l to be a fi'l nahi, look for 2 things. Look for 2 things. What are the 2 things? You will look for a la, and you will look for a fi'l mudari in the lightest form. When they come together, that means it is a forbidding. La plus a fi'l mudari in the lightest form together, side by side, next to each other. La plus a fi'l mudari in the lightest form means you have detected a fail nahi. So one more time. Begin with your fail in the second person mudari form. Put the fail in the lightest form and put a la in front of it. If you don't know how to put your fail mudari in the lightest form, you have to go back, revise how to put a fail mudari in the lightest form. You should memorize how to put fail mudari in the light form and how to put the fail mudari in the lightest form. There is a difference between the light form and the lightest form. So, la is also used to negate a fail mudari. La is also used to negate. So what is the difference between negate and forbid? Negation is a simple statement of fact or an observation. When nahi, fail nahi is a demand of an action. You're demanding somebody to not do something. So now we are going to do command. Now we are going to look at command. What is the process for constructing a command? 1, 2, 3, then 4, and then 5. We have 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the difference? When you command somebody, begin with your fail in the second person mudari form. Once again, we started off with anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna. Again, we are working with the same pronouns of mudare. We are again working with the anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna versions of fail mudare. And make sure that the pronoun matches with the one being commanded. So you are commanding, for example, anta version, antuma version, antum, anti, antuma, antuna. Whichever version you are commanding, use the specific fail mudare for that pronoun. Okay? Then put the fail in the lightest form. Again, forbidding command, both of them use the lightest form. Use the lightest form. Whether it is a amar or a nahi, forbidding or commanding, use the lightest form of fail mudare. Use the lightest form of fail mudare of only anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna. Because you can only command and forbid for somebody who is present. You cannot create forbidding and a command for somebody who's not there. And you cannot command yourself. So, put the fail in the lightest form. Remove the ta of the first letter of the fail. As you know, all the anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antum, antuna of fail mudare have a ta. So remove the ta. So, now, this is something you have to take care of. This is something you have to take care of. If the new first letter, after removing the ta, now that you've removed the ta, if the next letter will become the new first letter, right? So the new first letter after removing the ta has something other than a sukoon on it, then your job is done. Then leave it as it is. You've created a command. If the new first letter, you remove the ta and the next letter became the new first letter. If it has a haraka on it, if it doesn't have a sukoon on it, done. That's it. Your command is done. But if the new first letter after removing the ta has a sukoon on it, then it is impossible to pronounce. I mean, you cannot pronounce sur. How would you do that? So then you will place a helper alif. Then you will place a helper alif. But what about the haraka of the alif? Sur. Again, if alif does not have a haraka, it is still a problem. So how will you put a haraka on that alif? Yes. You will look at the second to last letter, the haraka on the second to last letter of the hua version of that verb. Second to last letter of the hua version of that verb. If it is a dhamma, alif gets a dhamma. If it is anything else, it gets a kasra. Easy? If the hua version of the second to last letter of the Hua version has a Dhamma, Alif gets a Dhamma. For example, Hua version of Nasara Yansuru. Sod has a Dhamma. So Alif gets a Dhamma. Right? Similarly, we look at this other example. Tazhabu. So we know the Hua version is Yazhabu. Ha has a Fatha. So the Alif gets a Kasra. Alright? So it is not as difficult. You just need a few revisions and go through it as many times as you want to till you feel comfortable, till you feel confident that you know it. So repetition is always a plus. It does not mean that you don't know anything. Revisions are always good. Revisions are always good. There's nothing wrong with revisions. Revisions are always good.